shall we begin?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Movie Pit Podcast. I am your host, Christian Renteria, and as you can see, this is the return of the summer movie season preview podcast. The last time I did this was way back in 2019, so yes, it is overdue, and what better way to come back than with this year, and not just any year. This is a decent summer movie season, but I also have a guest on the podcast this week. First time in a long time, so this is pretty cool. So yes, the idea of the podcast has always been, for this podcast in particular, is always better when I have a guest on the podcast. That is my cat, if you hear that in the background. But it's always good to have someone bounce off, especially this. So I'm going to let my guest introduce himself.
Sure. Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me. I am Stefan Keeber Freeman, or Keeber Freeman is what I go by in the art world. I'm a stay-home dad and professional artist and very average movie watcher.
Which is good. I didn't tell you this when we mentioned this, but I always think having someone someone to talk to who's a very casual moviegoer is always good, because you get an idea of like what the other side, because you get me, which is like, goes to the movies every weekend, sometimes twice a weekend or whatever, as opposed to someone who only chooses to go, every now and then, or, depending on what, is out and what interests you.
Very every now and then type of person. Mostly just timing wise and just how my work schedule tends to work. It doesn't usually line up the way I would like it to go see a bunch of movies, but for certain ones, I make the time and energy for it.
That's always cool. So, Swan and I are going to be, like I said, running down the summer movie season. That, of course, runs from the beginning of May to the end of August. So we were running down, talking down mainly the wide releases, giving our thoughts about them. We'll, of course, talk about, in passing, the limited releases and the movies that are coming out on Netflix, because Netflix really is the only streaming site that puts out their movies that they're releasing ahead of time, early. Hulu or Prime Video, they usually wait like the month of, so that's kind of annoying when we're doing this, but that's why I have the other podcast, or the other episodes of the podcast to keep you updated on that. Before we get to this summer, I do want to briefly mention last summer. I usually do this with the other ones, but I haven't done this in a while, so that's why it feels off. But I'm going to give you the top 10 movies of last summer, starting from number 10. That was Elemental, Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Sound of Freedom, The Little Mermaid, Oppenheimer, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and Barbie at the top spot of last summer. Which is,
I think I've seen maybe.
It's an amazing list, obviously. And of course, Barbenheimer took over last summer, which was, something that I don't think is going to be replicated this year, this summer. Probably won't be replicated for a while. So there is that. All right. So before we get to that, I do want to mention one little last thing. This is the current schedule as it stands. Obviously, the summer movie season, things get put in, things get taken out, things get moved around. And like I mentioned, Prime Video and Hulu, they'll release whatever movies they're dropping. So right now, as of this recording, this is the summer movie season. We're recording this on April 23rd. Just want to, put out that honesty about it. So bear with us while we talk about some of these movies. And if you're wondering, like, where's this movie? It's not on here. All right, settle down. All right, so let's start off with May. May 1st, the 3rd of May, rather. It's the first weekend of May. We have quite a few movies here. Again, in passing, the limited releases and Netflix movies, we have Unfrosted, which is the based on a true story of how the Pop-Tart got created. That is co-written, stars, and directs Jerry Seinfeld. That co-stars Melissa McCarthy, Christian Slater, Jim Gaffigan, Amy Schumer, Hugh Grant, and many more people star in that movie. That's dropping on Netflix. Limited release, we have A24's I Saw the TV Glow, which is about two teenagers who bond over their love of a supernatural TV show, but when it's mysteriously canceled, there's some mysterious things that maybe maybe it's not really a TV show. Maybe it's their real lives, or it's based on their real lives. Trailer's very interesting if you want to go check that out. We have the re-release of Star Wars Episode 1 of Phantom Menace, which I briefly want, just because this is something I do every now and then. I check out seating-wise, kind of how all that's going on. Opening day, practically sold out, because all you nerds want to go watch Phantom Menace again in the theaters, which is fine. It's fine. It's fine. But then we have the wide releases for the third, which is Tarot. It's a horror movie. Friends play with the mysterious tarot card deck that unleashes supernatural horror against them, as it does. And then The Fall Guy, which is the first big summer movie season that's coming out. It's based on the '80s show of the same name with Lee Majors. It has a very similar plot to the TV show. Majors played a stuntman who moonlighted as a bounty hunter when work in Hollywood was light. This one, kind of taking that a little bit. He still plays a stuntman, but he looks like he's involved in something else entirely. So that is the opening week of May. That is the opening week of the summer movie season. How you feeling, Stefan, about that?
I want to start by saying I'm kind of disappointed because I kind of have a somewhat of a tradition of going to the movies the first weekend of
Mm,
May because that's when my birthday is, and there's always some big fun movie
yeah,
coming out. For the better part of the last 15, 20 years, it's been some superhero movies, surprisingly. And there isn't one this year, and I'm a superhero movie fan, and so that's disappointing that there's not one that's coming out this year that weekend. Of the ones that are coming out, I'm most interested in the Fall Guy. That looks pretty good from when I saw the trailer. It seems like my kind of movie. Got an action adventure, seen some slices of comedy. Probably has an interesting story. I don't know the trailer looked pretty good. It pulled me in. I'm not a big scary
mm,
movie guy, and so anything that seems like it's going to be scary, I'm just not interested in it. So Toro didn't even watch the trailer. Probably, it was just like, I know I'm not going to watch that. I also don't have Netflix,
okay, okay.
so anything that's like a release just on that is like the Pop-Tart movie looks pretty good actually. It's something I would be interested in watching, but will I watch it is another story just because I don't have that
Mm.
service. Um, but yeah, Fall Guy looks pretty good. From the summer ones, I just kind of wish that there was a couple other hitters that were coming out. I also should mention, and this is probably sacrilege, especially from a person that likes these types of movies, that I haven't seen any Star Wars movies.
Really?
Yeah, I somehow missed the wave. Not that I'm not interested
Right.
in it. It's just at some point or another, a lot of my friends, especially like in high
Mm.
school, were watching it, and I was doing something else. And now there's like 15 of them, and like kind of daunting to just
Yeah,
jump in
yeah, yeah. I
somewhere.
get it.
My wife's not gonna watch it with me, so it's like I'll get around to them eventually, I think, but I just haven't seen any of them in totality. And so another movie that's just not that interesting to me. As a very probably sub-casual moviegoer.
No, I get it. Yeah, and you mentioned something with the fact that there's no superhero movie. Um, I forgot about this because I was listening to some other podcast and they mentioned that. I was like, oh, that's right. This is the first kind of real summer movie season in a while that Marvel hasn't opened the summer movie season, and they've been doing that for the last X years.
For a
Yeah,
long time.
so that's pretty
Long time.
crazy. That is not the case this year. Of course, there's only one Marvel movie coming out this year, and we'll talk about that, of course, a little bit later. But yeah, of these, yeah, that's kind of crazy. And I mentioned briefly about the Star Wars thing. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm a fan of Star Wars. I don't know if I want to go watch the Phantom Menace again for only for like the 10 good minutes of the movie that there is, and that's all the way at the end. So I don't know. I want to do that. Tarot. This is interesting because this one's been bouncing around the release schedule for a little bit, and they finally landed right here at the beginning of May, which I thought was interesting. Um, but yeah, it looks fine. It looks like one of the. Yeah, it just looks fine. Even for me, like I'm a big horror guy, and even for me, it's like it looks fine. The Fall Guy, yeah, this came out at a film festival. I think it was South by Southwest or Fantastic Fest. It was one of those two, and everyone
Mhm.
is really loving this movie. Everyone's saying it's really good. So that's a really good thing to hear. You got Ryan Gosling, I mean Blunt in there, so I'm excited for that. So of this week, I would say Fall Guy is the one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. The trailer I thought was interesting and very confusing at the same time was the I saw the TV
Mm,
below because I didn't really know where it was going, and I was like, ah, this is probably another horror movie. I might just skip it, but we'll just see. And then it wasn't. It didn't seem like it was, and then it seemed like it could have been, and I was like, what's happening in this trailer?
yeah, and I think that's one of the things was like it's trying to throw you off too. And I don't think it's a horror movie. I think it's more like I think it may be a little more on the thriller side. I've heard some things from it coming out because this also dropped at the film festivals, and everyone's just saying it's really good. But I forgot to like see like if it was like a horror movie or it was. But I think from what I remember, it's more on the thriller side, but it's a light thriller.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
I'm fine with thrillers. I'm okay. I mean, they're if they're interesting, not just
yeah,
like jump scare horror, like blood gore. Like I'm not interested in that. There's enough crazy stuff happening in the world. But that one was interesting, and so I was like, I'm lightly interested. Like
yeah,
it's a movie that I probably wouldn't if I hadn't seen the trailer specifically for like this podcast. I probably would have been like it would have flown by because I don't watch like a lot of TV or anything, so I don't watch a lot of trailers in general unless I hear
yeah.
about a movie that's like that sounds interesting to me or has some actor or actresses that I'm interested in seeing, or some story that I just knew was coming out. But yeah, it's on the line for me. It's like, would I go out and see it? Low probability. Does it sound kind of interesting? A little bit, a little bit.
That's good. All right, let's move on to the next week. So this one, so again, crazy movie schedule. There was originally two big movies coming out this week. One of them got moved. So we have Mother of the Bride, which is on Netflix. That one's directed by Mark Walters, who directed Freaky Friday, Mean Girls, Bad Santa 2, the Netflix version of He's All That. Um, this one stars Miranda Cosgrove, who plays the daughter, the bride, and Brooke Shields plays the mother. Trailer looks fine, not something I'm totally crazy about. But the big movie coming out is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. This is set 300 years after War of the Planet of the Apes, or after the last movie. So yes, this is a continuation of the previous Planet of the Apes movies. This is also directed by Wes Ball, who directed the Maze Runner movies. And if you've seen all their Maze Runner movies, you know that because he has a very distinct style, and I can see that in the trailer. And I'm like, oh, that's that. There he is. But he's a visual effects guy who got a chance to direct, so he's obviously going to put his style in it, which is fine.
Yeah.
Um, what are you thinking here?
I saw the Planet of the Apes trailer. It looked interesting to me, actually. And I was like, I actually might want to see this, given that I didn't see the last one. I'm trying to think if I've seen any of the Planet of the Apes movies. Um, Again, it's another type of movie that's like it's a weird realm of I should be interested in it because I like all the elements that it
Hmm.
supplies, but then I like see the trailer and I'm just like, it's a pass. But this one, I watched the trailer and I was like, this looks pretty good. I don't know, it looks interesting at least, and I'd be interested in seeing where it goes, even though I haven't seen any of the other ones. So hope that's not a necessary thing. But yeah,
No, I think the fact that it's based so far into the future, I think is good because this is supposed to be like a new trilogy. So I
okay,
think there'll probably be things that like from the old trilogy, they're like, oh, if you're a fan and you watch those, you'll get them. But
hmm
I think they're trying to capture like another new audience
well,
for
they
this
got
movie.
me. They got me interested. So that it's working. I was like, I'm interested in this story. I'm interested in the I don't want to say enslavement of people. That sounds weird, but like they're hunting humans and that whole aspect of it is like, I don't know. It sounds interesting. It's intriguing to me. I want to see where they take it.
Yeah, and that's always kind of been the thing with these movies, even the older ones, like the ones back in the day. It's like they flip it. It's such a unique thing. And I just there was a video yesterday, I think yesterday, where they're already starting the viral promotion for this movie. There was somebody dressed in an ape costume riding on a horse on a beach or in like Venice Beach. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. I love when studios do that. I love when they go out of their way and do promotion like that.
That's good.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Kingdom of Planet of the Apes. I'm also looking to not see the trailer anymore,
Mm.
because I've been seeing the trailer for the last 6 months, and I that's not going to affect my viewing of the movie, but seeing the trailer for the last 6 months, it's like, just come out already. And now it's finally going to come out. So that's my little thing for that. Let's move on to the next week. We got another Netflix movie, Thelma the Unicorn. This is about Thelma, a pony who wishes to be a unicorn, and her dream comes true, and the unexpected cost of what that means for her. The three movies we got. This is the first like kind of real stuffed weekend of the summer. We got three movies. Back to Black, which is the biopic of Amy Winehouse's life. Marisa Abella plays Winehouse. She's best known for the TV series Industry, so she's still kind of up and coming in the world. We have The Strangers Chapter 1. Despite the trailer making it look like it's a remake of the first movie, it is supposed to be a prequel, and this is, again, Chapter 1. They already have three movies lined up. This is the first one. And then If, written and directed by John Krasinski. It's about a young girl who begins to see the imaginary friends of other people that have been left behind. Big cast in here. Ryan Reynolds plays the human in the movie, along with a little girl played by Kelly Fleming. She's an up-and-coming actress as well. Voice actors include Steve Carell, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Maya Rudolph, Jon Stewart, Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Sam Rockwell, the late Louis Gossett Jr., and many, many more. What are we looking at? How are you feeling? Except for The Strangers Chapter 1, since you already mentioned you don't like horror movies.
No, yeah, I started the trailer for that. I think I literally just wrote down looks creepy. So I didn't even if I, I wasn't sure what I was gonna see when I pulled that one up, and I
Mm,
was I don't know, surprised. A good surprise, and I
yeah.
was actually really interested in that. It kind of made me feel happy. It's like a feel good trailer ish, and I guess, and it might be my bias of being a creative person in a creative career, and kind of also a parent that kind of influence, like wanted to keep my kids as imaginative and keep enriching that part of their life. To see a movie like this, where you got like this adult person who I can see myself in, and then kind of showing like, oh, we got to help these imaginary friends. It seemed like a nice kind of feel good, colorful story, but also like how your imagination is very powerful. And that's
Mhm.
something I tend to tell like my daughter all the time is she can control herself, she can control what she wants to do, and things that she imagines she can work towards to make. So that being put on the screen like that is interesting to me as it's relevant in my life. So most interested in that one, I guess.
Okay.
And then Amy Winehouse movie, I like good biopics, so it looks dramatic. It looks like it could be pretty good. I'd be interested in seeing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Back in Black one. Yeah, I saw the trailer for it. I think when it first came out, and first time I saw it was in theaters,
Mm,
and I didn't know what it was. And then obviously, pretty much immediately in the trailer, it tells you that it's Amy Winehouse,
hmm
and I kind of always forget that she's passed away.
hmm
So like that trailer just makes it so effective, and like her music's in there, and they have the rights to all of her music, which is pretty cool.
That's good.
So I don't have to worry about that too much. Um, Strangers, yeah, like I mentioned at the very beginning, the trailer makes it seem like it's a remake of the first movie, and I really like the first movie. The first movie is very very effective. It's a very effective horror thriller.
Yeah,
Um, so I really like that, and I like the second one they did. It was very different. It made it more of a kind of an '80s slasher vibe. And then I heard they were going to do this, and I was like, "Oh, that's all right. Well, I guess I'll go. All right, we'll see how that works out." And the trailer came out, and I was like, I thought they weren't remaking it, and because it looks so much like the first movie, and it bothers me that the way they kind of released the news of this movie was that the main girl in the movie, I forgot to write down her name, but the main girl in the movie is supposed to star in all three. And it's making me wonder how they're going, because again, trailer looks very much like the first movie. You know how that, if you're a fan of that and watched it, you know how that first movie ends, and you're like, how are they going to do that? How is she gonna be it? And then my mind starts to wander. I'm like, that would be really dumb if they do what I think they're gonna do. But I'm not gonna say where it is right now. But if they do that, I'm just gonna be like, why? What's the point? What's the point of that? that's just me. If you said it very beautifully, you know how it connects to you and with your daughter and everything. Um, I remember when I saw. This is another one I didn't see the trailer until I saw it in theaters. It was out online, but I didn't see it until I saw it in theaters. I saw the poster for it, and I'm like, that's an interesting poster because the poster is like it's Steve Cross character. He's the big purple one,
Hmm.
and you just see his hand coming out the window, and you're just like, and for me, I'm like, what is that? Like, what is that? And then you see the trailer, it's like, oh, that makes more sense. And yeah, this is very, um, someone who has an active imagination like I do. This is really right up my alley too, and it looks like a fun family movie, and
Yeah.
you need that in the summer, especially with these first few movies. You have the Fall Guy, which is like for the adults and the action fans, and then you have Kingdom and Planet of the Apes, which I guess you can take your kids to, if you think they can handle that. But If is like the first like real like big kids summer movie, which I
Hmm.
think is family movie, which is I think is really cool. Let's move on to the next weekend of May. Again, another Netflix movie, Atlas. This is directed by Brad Payton, who directed San Andreas and Rampage. It stars Jennifer Lopez, Simon Liu, or Simu Liu, sorry, Sterling K. Brown, and Mark Strong. They literally just dropped the trailer this morning. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but from the teaser that they dropped, which is the one that I sent you,
Hmm.
the one that at least at the time everyone has seen, it looks okay. I'm worried that all the cool stuff in the trailer is like the beginning of the movie, and then the rest of the movie is going to be like Jennifer Lopez stuck on a planet, and we have to watch her for the rest. Nothing against Jennifer Lopez, no, nothing against her, but
Just floating
it's
through
like
space.
yeah, it's just like it's not the movie that I want. I want to watch that big action stuff, and I'm afraid that's not going to be what the movie is. If it turns out great, then fine, whatever. The next one is Sight. This is based on a true story of Dr. Min Wang, played by Terry Chen. He's a big character actor. He's a Chinese immigrant who defied odds and becomes the world-renowned eye surgeon. This co-stars Craig Kinnear. This is the first of quite a few based on a true story movies that we will end up talking about in the summer movie season, which I
Hmm.
find very interesting
Hmm.
that they're doing that this summer. But hey, more power to them if they can knock it out of the park. Next movie is the Garfield movie. Chris Pratt, of course, voices Garfield, and his long lost father, Samuel L. Jackson, voices Vic. And all three of them, along with the dog Odie, who's voiced by Harvey Guillen from What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show, they are forced to abandon their pampered life and join Vic on a high stakes heist. And then we have Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, of course, Anya Taylor Joy in that movie. Chris Hemsworth also in the movie playing the villain. This is a prequel to Mad Max Fury Road. What do we think? And then should be mentioned, this is of course Memorial Day weekend, so it's a longer weekend.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. This is the site looks super heavy. When I was watching the trailer, I was like, man,
Yeah,
this is going to be a heavy
yeah.
one to kind of check out.
I was not expecting that. I was like, okay, all right, you want to throw that down in the middle of the summer? Okay,
Right.
that's all right.
I wonder if because there's not the big superhero push that every other month there's a superhero movie this summer, um, maybe some of them felt like, oh, we have a better chance of getting our movie seen because we don't have to compete against these real big kind of um, as you call superhero Marvel or whatever movies that are coming out. They usually take a lot of the spotlight up. So it is a kind of a decent opportunity to have like a these biopic or based on true stories movies coming out. Maybe we'll see, I guess. But
Yeah,
that's just my current thought process on it. I like Garfield. I'm unlikely to see this movie, if I'm honest, but I do like Garfield the character. Like I've always been interested in just like the cat being silly, and I used to read the little comics and stuff. I actually watched the trailer for the Atlas. I'm kind of feeling the same. It feels like it's okay. Um,
yeah,
if I had the opportunity, I'd watch it and just see where it goes. The way I typically go into movies though is like, let's just see what happens. I go in with like for the most part, very low expectations. I expect it to be a movie, there to be some entertainment value. There would be a beginning, a middle, and an end.
yeah, yeah,
I have a very low threshold
yeah,
I'm not expecting a whole lot. And so then when it's good, then it's good. If it's not good, then I'm usually like, it was okay. Like, it had some other stuff. It's rare that I'm like, oh, that was a bad movie. Like, yeah, there's bad movies out there, but there's always something that I find that I'm interested in. If I'm really not that interested in it, I'll probably just turn it off or not like finish watching it. But generally, I'll finish it and be like, okay. I mean, I wouldn't watch it again, but it was okay. Like, but that's how I approach a lot of movies. So like a lot of movies that people really dislike, or like I think in one of the last episodes you were talking about what was it you're talking about? Came out in February. Madam Web. Yeah, just hit.
Yeah, I went a little I went a little hard on that one, and I mentioned that I cut it down because I went harder before, but yeah, I
But like, and your points were fine. They're spot on. They make a lot of sense. Um, but I still found it entertaining. Like, there were definitely things that I was just like, man, that don't make a lot of sense, but it's a movie, whatever. And
yeah.
afterwards, I was like, I watched it. I watched it with my wife. She doesn't typically like a lot of superhero movies, and that's kind of a measure if it's an okay movie. Like, will she sit through the whole thing? Will she fall asleep? Uh, uh, and it was okay. And there was entertainment value. And then if I went into it as a hyper comic book fan, and I do love comic books, then I would have been very, very disappointed. But I don't go into movies that way. And so it's just
Yeah.
like, let's just see what they do. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. I guess that's a way to put it. But uh, but yeah, I don't know. I forget how we got on that, but that's how I kind of go into a lot of movies. Mad Max movie. I don't know. Again, a movie that I'm probably not gonna watch. It doesn't seem to be that interest. It doesn't interest me at least.
Right. Yeah. No. I'm. This is one of my most anticipated movies because I really love Mad Max Fury Road, and when they announced they were going to do Furiosa, I was like, okay, great. Originally, of course, everybody thought that it was going to be Charlize Theron because she played Furiosa in Mad Max Fury Road. And they, they went the younger route because it is a prequel story. But I guess they couldn't get Charlize back, or George Miller, the director, wanted to just go with a different actress, and you can't really go wrong with Anya Taylor-Joy. She's great. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. Garfield, yeah, I'm probably gonna go watch it because I do like Garfield as well. I like the character, and it's Memorial Day weekend. It's a long weekend. I'm not gonna watch Furiosa, you know, 3 times. I'll probably watch it more than once, but if it's good, there is that.
Yeah.
And Sight, yeah, I mean, we mentioned it's very heavy, but it's going up against Garfield, and Furiosa might get lost in the mix, but I still want to mention it because it's part of the schedule. But yeah, no, just to touch on something you said, despite my my rage of Madam Web, the last podcast, you're right. Especially, and this is something that we talked about very briefly about you being a casual moviegoer. You got to go in, empty-headed almost a lot of the time, and that is something that I tend to pride myself on. I usually go and um, leave all the expectations at the door. Someone like me who reads almost everything online, not spoiler-wise, but just in terms of like buzz and everything from film festivals and stuff like that. I leave that at the door because everyone's saying like, "Oh, this movie's awesome. This movie's great. This movie's awesome," and I sit there and I'm like, this movie's not that awesome. This movie's not that great. It's gonna affect my viewing. So it's like, yeah, you gotta go in. I'm not saying you shouldn't, listen to the buzz, because obviously you gotta listen to the buzz. If there's someone that is who you trust movie wise, like this is the guy that I listen to, and they tell you it's an okay movie, that's one person's opinion.
Right. Mhm.
But you got to make your own opinion. If you don't go watch it, then you don't go watch. But if you go watch it, make your own opinion of it. Don't listen to everybody else. Everybody that kind of, I have this thing with Rotten Tomatoes where everyone's like, oh, what's the Rotten Tomato score? Who cares? No
Doesn't
one cares.
matter.
It's not
Doesn't
even
matter.
like effective system. It's like it's a aggravator for all the reviewers that are coming in. So it's like, just make your own opinion. If you want to go watch it, great. The worst thing that can happen when you go watch a movie and you don't like it is you lose, $20, $15, whatever, how much it costs, and you lose about 2 hours of your time. Which, yeah, I mean, again, if you value your time, then, that sucks. But most of the time, movies are okay. Movies are decent. Movies, it takes, and for me, who watches a lot of movies, it does take a lot to be like, this movie is terrible, this movie is bad. A la Madam Web. For me, personally. Um,
It wasn't great, I'll tell you that. But
Yeah, it wasn't great, but it's like, if you don't watch a lot of movies, or you don't, know about the character, you don't know about the comic book world or whatever, and you just
mhm.
go in and watch Madam Web and you like it, great. I'm not going to take that away from you. Like
I think it's okay for non-comic book people. It'll be an okay story, you
yeah,
know. But for anyone that has any idea of like Madam Web or any of the, like, it's just like, why did they do that? What, and those creative choices, obviously. But I kind of go into them. I'm the opposite. It's kind of interesting that we're like doing this podcast together because we're kind of opposites on a lot of things. I don't read the reviews. I don't
mm,
like look at first Rotten Tomato scores or anything. Like I barely watch the trailer half the time. Like if I see the trailer while I'm watching another movie, I'll be like, I'll go see that.
yeah,
I'll decide. Or if I
mhm,
hear about it from like my brother, he's like, "Oh, did you see this movie's coming out?" No, I'll look at the trailer. All right, let's go check it out. And so I do I do no research. I
right.
go in almost blind
And that's
based
almost
off like,
better,
hmm
right? Because that's the big conversation now. It's like, like, is there too many trailers? Are the trailers giving too much away? Should people go in blind? It's like that works most of the time, but other times, it's like some people want to know a little bit.
what's going to be about. Yeah,
Yeah,
like example, the Deadpool. We're gonna talk about this later, but the Deadpool Wolverine movie. I haven't seen the trailer or teaser or anything for it. I don't need to. Like, I'm gonna
yeah,
go see it.
yeah. And then there's certain things that are like, like, yeah, it's like you tell someone like, hey, there's a Deadpool Wolverine movie. I was like, what? I'm gonna go watch it. I don't want to watch
Yeah,
anything. I don't watch any trailers, TV
no,
spots.
don't need
No,
to.
just yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. That's good. I
And
mean,
we can keep going.
and that's good. I mean, that's the big conversation happening now with trailers coming out and stuff like that. So, um, and with this, me and you're like, yeah, it's like on paper, it's like, why are these two doing a podcast? But it's like, no, this is great because you're the other side of the conversation. I'm the other
Yeah.
side. We're both the sides of the conversation. That's good. All right, let's end May. We got three movies here. One of them is a limited release, but it's unknown if it's actually coming out. Because I don't know if I put it on your outline that I gave you. It's in a violent nature.
Mm,
This is told through the perspective of a killer. This came out in film festivals. Trailer came out, looks great. Everyone that watched it at the film festivals said that it was pretty good. And I put it here because this was the original release date they have, but on the release schedule, the one at least I look at and follow, and it's pretty correct. It's not on there.
mm.
But the horror website that I go to, they have it on there, and they're usually pretty good about the release dates. So just want to put that out there. It's a limited release anyway, so it may not come out. But the two big movies coming out at the end of May, we have Ezra. This is about a comedian played by Bobby Cannavale who co-parents his autistic son Ezra, and his ex-wife Jenna, played by Rose Byrne, are faced with a crucial decision about their son's future, and then the father and son go on a life-changing cross-country road trip. This also has a pretty impressive cast with Robert De Niro, Vera Farmiga, Rainn Wilson, and Whoopi Goldberg. And then we have an animated movie, Robot Dreams, which follows the adventures and misfortunes of dog and robot in New York City in the 80s. There is no dialogue in this movie. And this is a movie that's interesting because this came out, or it didn't come out. It did come out in film festivals, but it was released early for voters because this was a movie that was nominated for Best Animated Feature at the Oscars, and it's just coming out. And everyone was like, "Why is this coming out? Why didn't it come out before so people can watch it?" I don't know. It's whatever. It's up to the company. So there you go. Robot Dreams, Ezra, and In the Violent Nature. Anything stick out for you, Stefan? Anime here.
I like anime stuff. I didn't know what to expect when I saw the name of the movie, and then again, I don't know about any of these movies until literally this is the most trailers I've seen in a long time. Uh, and I was like, huh, this looks interesting. I don't know how to feel about it. I like the animation style. It feels fun and whimsical, and that's very interesting to me. But I don't know if I'll check it out or not. Hadn't decided. Um, Ezra looks good. Looks like it's a pretty touching story, but it also looks like a movie that I prefer to watch at home,
Yeah,
if I'm honest. Like sit on the couch, eat some popcorn, kind of relaxing.
yeah.
It looks like a good story though, kind of touching is what I put. And yeah, in Violent Nature, it looks Jason-y, hard pass.
That's why it's a plus for me because I want to go watch. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Ezra. This is an interesting kind of end of May thing, and I don't know just because like it's the other weekend is Memorial Day weekend, so they're just hoping that there's going to be some fall over, and that's usually how it is. But they'll usually try to put like one big movie at the end of May, but it didn't seem like that's the case here because I haven't seen a lot of promotion for Ezra yet. And I don't know if it's just because like it's the other weekend is Memorial Day weekend, so they're just hoping that there's going to be some fall over, and that's usually how it is. But they'll usually try to put like one big movie at the end of May, but it didn't seem like that's the case here I didn't even know Ezra was coming out. I didn't know Ezra or Robot Drones are coming out until I started doing this.
Hmm.
So I don't know. There's gonna be like a hard push when we get to that, and more into May. But yeah, these I mean they look fine. They look fine.
It's fine.
So that's the most I can say about that. So that's May. That's our first month gone by. Let's push on through to June. June 7th, we have Under Paris, which is a movie on Netflix. It's directed by Xavier Gens, who directed the Hitman movie and Mayhem, which came out in a limited release last year. So I don't know if people went to go, or earlier this year, rather. And this is about a shark that's swimming in the river Seine in Paris. And there's about to be a big like triathlon in the river. And there's someone, of course, warning the government officials like you have to shut it down. And they're like, no. And then obviously shark mayhem ensues. So it's a French movie. So for anybody who wants to go watch that, the French movies have been hitting pretty hard on Netflix, and they've been pretty good. Someone who's been watching those movies anyway. We have Hitman. This is directed and co-written by Richard Linklater, who of course did Boyhood, Days Confused, Everybody Wants Some. This is interesting because this is the first movie that's getting a limited release in theaters and also a release on Netflix. So if you don't watch it on Netflix and you want to go watch in theaters, you can go watch it that. Glenn Powell stars in this movie. He was, of course, in Top Gun Maverick, Anyone But You. He's going to be in Twisters, which we'll talk about a little bit later. He also helped Linklater write the movie a little bit or come up with the story. So there's that. And then this is a movie that just came into the schedule. So you don't have it. So I have it. It's called The Exorcism. So you're not going to go watch it. But as Russell Crowe, he stars as a troubled actor who begins to unravel while shooting a supernatural horror film. His estranged daughter wonders if he's slipping back into his past addictions or if there's something more sinister at play. This also co-stars Sam Worthington from the Avatar movies, Chloe Bailey, Adam Goldberg, and David Hyde Pierce. It is produced by Kevin Williamson, who produced and wrote the Scream movies, the old ones anyway. And it is directed and co-written by Joshua John Miller, who directed The Final Girls, which is a movie that I really like. It's a great little meta horror movie about the final girls in horror movies. Really good, and I kind of see that a little bit in the synopsis for this movie. And then, but the big wide release here is Bad Boys Ride or Die, which is the fourth Bad Boys movie. So what are we thinking, Stefan? Especially now with I mean, you can count out The Exorcism, but what are you thinking about the other movies there?
Definitely most looking forward to Bad Boys. I've liked all the Bad Boys movies. Um, and so that one's like, as soon as I saw that was coming out, I was like, yeah, I'm going to see it whenever it comes out. Like
Yeah,
it was one of those ones we kind of just decided like, all right, sounds
yeah,
good. And then I saw the trailer, and I was like, okay, I'm interested in the story even more.
yeah.
Definitely gonna go see it now. Of the ones mentioned, yeah, that's the one I'm most interested in. The others are meh.
Yeah, I mean, with Under Paris is one of those movies that was announced this year. I mean, obviously it's already done, but it was announced this year. I was like, oh, okay. Like, I watched the trailer. I was like, yeah, this seems like a dumb, fun summer movie. Yeah, I'll watch that. Hitman. This one got released in the film festival circuit, and everyone's saying it's really good. Glenn Powell already kind of making a name for himself, and they're like, this is the movie that's going to solidify that. It's him.
Okay.
He's the next guy. He's the next guy up. And working with Richard Linklater, which he already worked with before, which is really cool. Seeing them back together is pretty great. The Exorcism, for me, it's like, Russell Crowe is on his horror kick. He did this. He did the Pope's Exorcist last year, which was okay. He's going to do this. And I like the kind of, meta-ness of it, of them shooting a horror movie. You don't really see a lot of that, especially nowadays. You saw a lot more like back in the 90s, like Scream 2 or 3. Can't remember which one. I think it was Scream 2, where they were on a movie set. But I like I mentioned, I like the director and the co-writer, Joshua John Miller. The Final Girls, really great. I'll shout that out for anybody who wants to go watch that. And yeah, Bad Boys Ride or Die. Big fan of the Bad Boys movies. Who isn't? I mean, you got Will Smith, you got Martin Lawrence back. It looks great. The action looks
Together.
great.
And the
Yeah, I
story,
mean,
I think the plot, because sometimes when it comes to movies that have multiple sequels, it can kind of get like, okay, are they doing the same thing, or it's going to be,
yeah,
how are they going to keep it going? I think the plot is also seems interesting, like the premise of it, and I was like, okay, I can see how they're tying in things from the previous movies, and then oh, someone's getting framed, or are they? And
Yeah,
so are they?
yeah, and
Whose side are they on?
yeah, and that's one of the cool things about the Bad Boys movies is like that they're able to. It's hard because you think it's like, oh, it's just it's a buddy cop movie. They can just like
Hmm.
they're just going after the next bad guy. It's like no, they're always doing something different, and that's
Hmm.
really cool. You don't expect that from these kind of movies, but it's like no, they're doing something different, and that's really cool. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. Um, I like that they're going back a little bit with kind of their old ways, and it's always cool to hear the theme. You hear the theme a little bit in the trailer, which is always great. So
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to see what they do with that. All right, let's move on to the next week. Netflix has Ultraman Rising. This is a new 3D animated take on Ultraman. For all the anime lovers out there who know who Ultraman is. Then you have Inside Out 2. We get New Emotions, led by Anxiety, played by Maya Hawke. A bunch of other emotions as well, but it looks like she's going to be the lead one. And then you have The Watchers. This is directed by Ashana Shyamalan, the daughter of M. Night Shyamalan. This is her featured directorial debut. She has directed episodes of the Apple TV series Servant, which I hear is also very good. I have not watched it, but I'm going to put that on my list because I hear it's pretty good. Dakota Fanning plays a woman who gets placed inside a mysterious shelter with strangers with one-way mirror where mysterious creatures at night view them. Apparently, this is based on a book. I forgot to put down the book name on here, but this also dropped a new trailer today. So I didn't get to watch the trailer, but the first trailer was actually pretty good for me. Um, what are we thinking here for this short week?
I love the first Inside Out, so I'm actually personally excited to see that one again.
Yeah,
Again, I prefer animated movies. I like them. I enjoy them just from visually, but usually the stories are pretty okay too. And obviously, I'm a parent, so my kids aren't super into movies currently. But I always like to preview the movies that we have them before we let them watch them. So I'm always up to watch the animated one. So that one was pretty good. I like to see where they're going with that one. Um, yeah, Watchers looked like a good mixture of suspense and creepy. Did you say Watchers? Yeah,
The
okay.
Watchers.
Just making sure I'm not ahead. The trailer looked good, but I probably won't watch it. That's what I wrote down.
I get no, I get it, I get it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I like the first Inside Out. I thought it was really great. Obviously, Pixar always knows how to pull on the heartstrings. I'm
They
sure they'll
do.
do. I'm sure they'll do that again here somehow. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the Watchers. I kind of don't want to watch the new trailer because I think the first trailer did an effective job. That's just me. Maybe too many trailers is getting to me, I guess. But that's a whole conversation for some other time. But yeah, this is a good weekend. You got your horror fix and you got your animated kick, which is great.
Hmm. Hmm.
All right. Next week, the 21st, you have the new Yorgos Lanthimos movie. He directed Poor Things, of course, won a bunch of awards. Kinds of Kindness. This is a limited release. Big cast: Emma Stone, William Dafoe, Jesse Plemons, Margot Qualley, Hong Chow, Joe Irwin. I always mispronounced the last name, and Hunter Schafer. You got that. Wide releases: Janet Planet. This is a drama about a girl in the '90s living with their mother Janet when three strangers who become enthralled by her mother. And then you have The Bike Riders, based on a true story. Benny's connection to the motorcycle club. Benny's played by Austin Butler. The Vandals is put to the test when he meets Kathy, played by Jodie Comer, when the club's modest beginnings begin to change. Tom Hardy plays the leader of the biker gang. Michael Shannon, Boyd Holbrook, Damian Harrion, and Norman Reedus also co-star. What are we thinking of this week?
Yeah. So right away, I'm a simple person. I see Emma Stone. I see Willem Dafoe. I'm interested.
You would
So
have,
that
you
one,
would
that one.
have.
I'm just like it's hard. It's a hard to. I think it's hard for them to miss, especially if them two are together. But so that one looked interesting. The trailer really got me curious about it. Again, I hadn't heard about it until I looked at the trailer specifically, and it got me curious about it. And I was already interested because, like I said, Emma Stone, William Dafoe. Okay, I'm there. Uh,
Okay.
Janet Planet is another one I thought that looked like it looks like a good indie drama. I don't know if that's correct, but that's how I perceived it. And it looked like something's fun and like I won't say fun. It looks like something you can watch at home, being cozy, wrapped up in a blanket. kind of feel. I'm a hot chocolate, can sit and watch this movie. Low like pressure, low like I don't really have to be too invested in like the action or the it's just like okay, there's a story that's happening. Let's
Yeah,
see where it goes. That's kind
yeah.
of what it felt like. And then Bike Riders, it could be good. It looks like it would be good for whoever's interested in it, but that person's not me. Uh,
Oh, you
I
had
like
us.
Tom Hardy. I like Hardy, as an actor. And I watched the trailer. I was like, okay, this is a well put together trailer. It looks like it could be a good movie. I just have very little interest in the plot, in the story, and so
I get it. I get it. This one's another one. Well, let's. I'll go up. Kinds of Kindness. That one kind of dropped out of nowhere because Yorgos obviously was doing the press run for Poor Things during the Oscars, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I got a new movie coming out." And then like 2 months later, it's like, "Oh here's a new movie. Here's a teaser for my new movie coming out." So that has everybody, all the film nerds on Twitter, myself being one of them, excited for that. Janet Planet, yeah, you mentioned it's kind of a nice little cozy indie movie. It is done by A24. They're done. They're known for that. They're known for cozy drama movies, straight drama movies, horror movies. So this falls in that first part. And the Bike Riders, yeah, I this to go back to what I was previously saying. This one's got pushed a little bit because of the writer's strike. It was supposed to come out last year, I think in December or something like that. And then because of the writer's strike, they're like, no, we're going to push it back. And then it was supposed to go to like January or something like that. And then they got pushed to another studio. And then they're finally dropping it here. It's based on a true story. I know nothing about this, and I found out that it takes place here in Chicago. We're from Chicagoland area, or I'm from the Chicagoland area. Stefan used to be from the Chicagoland area.
hmm
Uh, but yeah, and got Tom Hardy doing his accent game again because that's what he does now. I'm okay with that because it's Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy's cool.
yeah,
His
it's
cast
cool.
is great. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it. On paper, I wasn't that excited for it, even though it had a big cast. And then I saw the trailer. I was like, okay, now I'm a little more interested in that. So there you go. Bike Riders. All right. So the next weekend, the final weekend of June, we have Horizon, an American Saga Chapter 1. Kevin Costner directs, stars, co-wrote the movie. It's a 15-year span of pre- and post-Civil War expansion and settlement in the American West. It has a very big cast. Sam Worthington, Luke Wilson, Sienna Miller, Jenna Malone, Will Penn, Michael Rooker, Danny Houston, amongst many, many, many others. And then you have A Quiet Place Day One, which is a prequel slash spinoff of A Quiet Place, ending June here for us. What are we thinking, Stefan?
That's a missed weekend for me.
Yeah,
I'm
this,
not super interested in Horizon. It, it, I'm not interested in that aspect of history in this current phase of my life, and
yeah,
so that immediately I was like kind of turned off by it, even though I do like was it Crow, and I was like he's so good, but also I, I don't want to watch this. And then I didn't watch A Quiet Place. I won't watch the prequel. So
I get it. Yeah,
um,
yeah. I mean, yeah, I like the first Quiet Place. The second one was okay. It wasn't all that great. I'm interested in seeing what they do here because it is a prequel. It is a spin-off. Um, Supposed start of a few spin-off movies, but they're not sure about that. That was kind of originally the idea. They were going to do like this spin-off, and then they're going to do another one, and they kind of went away with the other one, and so they're going to do a spin-off here. There's going to be a sequel, Quiet Place Part 3, but they're going to hold off on that a little bit. Um, Spinoff looks great. Again, this is one of those other ones where I'm tired of seeing the trailer. I just want to see the movie now. So there's that one, and then Horizon. Yeah, I'm not that crazy about it either. I just it's not even like the history part of it. It's just like it's like I like westerns. I do when they're good and when they're done effectively and everything like that. This just doesn't interest me. I don't know what it's got a great cast. I'm just not interested. Like it's
it
just
does. It's so weird. Like I said, the
yeah.
cast is good, but then like as I'm watching the trailer, I'm just like, I'm not gonna watch this. Like it's
Yeah, it's not. And this is part one. Part two's coming out a little bit later in the summer. So Yeah, I'm just not interested. I'm sure
I'll be watching that either.
yeah, I won't be watching that one either. So, all right, all right. So let's move on to July. This beginning of July is really weird because we have a couple movies dropping like randomly, because July 4th is in the beginning of the week. July 3rd, we have Despicable Me 4 coming out wide release on Netflix. We have Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley, which is of course Beverly Hills Cop 3, 4. I forgot the number. So we have those coming out July 3rd. July 5th is Maxine, which is the third movie in the trilogy of X and Pearl. This one's set in the 80s Hollywood. Mia Goth returns as Maxine Mix, finally getting her shot in Hollywood. But this is during the Night Stalker phase in Hollywood where there was a killer,
Okay.
excuse me, going around. So Mia Goth's back. Cast is great. Elizabeth Debicki, Lily Collins, Hazley, the singer, Bobby Cannavale, Michelle Monaghan, Kevin Bacon, and Giancarlo Esposito. So that's beginning of July for us. What do we think?
I have no thoughts about the beginning of July movies. Um, because
It's a weird July. It's a
weird.
weird July.
Kind of odd.
You usually got like a couple movies, a couple big, or at least one more like big movie. It's like they're only putting their focus on Despicable Me 4, which I get.
Yeah.
Fourth movie, it's a kids movie. It's a long weekend. Parents are gonna take their kids to it. Beverly Hills Cop coming out on Netflix. People are excited. People are maybe excited for that. And Maxine is like very much a niche crowd.
Yeah.
People that want to go watch X, people that want to go watch Pearl, are excited for this. They're crazy excited for this. I'm one of those people that are crazy excited for this because I watched X and I watched Pearl, and I like those movies.
Okay.
Um, and this one looks great. But yeah, this July weekend it just looks really weird. Like it's just like they're
Yeah.
putting all their eggs on one basket. Despicable Me movies are fine. They're fine, but they just become minion movies at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, that's your thing. Great. I'm not gonna bash you for it, but yeah, I'm not too crazy about unless they put something in there like randomly. It's like, oh hey, we've been
Big
holding on to
surprise.
this. You gotta drop it here. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
got.
That's all right.
All right, so let's move on to the 12th. We have a couple limited releases. The first one is Sing Sing. This is based on a true story. Coleman Domingo plays Divine G, a man in prison for a crime he didn't commit, and finds his purpose by acting in a theater group alongside other prisoners. The next limited release is Long Legs. This is written and directed by Oz Perkins, who directed The Black Coat's Daughter and Gretel and Hansel, and it stars Menken Monroe, who plays an FBI agent who is assigned to solve assigned to an unsolved serial killer case that could have ties to an occult, and eventually discovers a personal connection to the killer. This co-stars Nicolas Cage, rumored to be the killer, which will be interesting. And the big release for the 12th is Fly Me to the Moon. Scarlett Johansson plays a marketing genius who is tasked to help NASA and its launch director, played by Channing Tatum, to have a plan B if the lunar landing doesn't actually work. So they're filming a fake moon landing, which I thought was kind of funny. What do we think of this week?
The most interesting I thought was Fly Me to the Moon. Like it looks super interesting. I worry that people that think the moon landing was fake would take it too seriously.
Yeah, this isn't helping that discussion. But
It's not, but I have a feeling that they're gonna like kind of spin that narrative. Like if they know, they gotta know that that's the narrative that's going around. Like the moon landing is fake. So I feel like that the twist in the movie is it's gonna spin on that narrative of the moon landing was fake, but actually no, it was real. But we had the opportunity to fake it or something
yeah,
like that.
and
But it looks interesting.
they make that little joke. It's like, oh, we should have got Kubrick, which of course everyone, the big thing is like, oh, Stanley Kubrick filmed the moon landing,
Hmm. Hmm.
because that was the thing back in the day. So yeah, that was
Well,
pretty
that
cool.
seems like a nice little interesting, like not full parody, but like also kind of historical. I don't know how accurate it actually be, but it seems like an interesting movie. Channing Tatum, Scarlett Johansson. I'd watch it.
Yeah, yeah. I remember like this one's been on the release schedule for a little bit, and it was always untitled because no one knew what the title of the movie was, or they hadn't like set it on the title yet. So it was always kind of there, and I was like, when are they gonna do something with it? And then they dropped a trailer randomly, and I'm like, oh, this actually looks really really good. Looks really
Yeah.
funny. So I'm looking forward to it. There's that. I do want to mention Long Legs. I'm excited for Long Legs. It's a horror movie, but I'm excited for it. because it's Neon, the company that's doing it, and they did this really cool thing, like dropping little things, like little teasers, like throughout the year for this
Mhm.
movie, and
Oh wow.
it was very effective. They were very creepy, and I was like, it just put the hype level for this movie very, very high up there. And then they finally dropped the full trailer, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is exactly what they were doing with the teaser. So I'm very much looking forward to it, seeing what they do uh, with Long Legs.
Gotta love a
All right.
good rollout.
Yeah, yeah, that's always good. All right, let's move on to the next weekend. We only got two movies this weekend. The 18th and 19th, Prime Video is releasing My Spy: The Eternal City. This is a sequel to My Spy, which starred Dave Bautista. He will be coming back for that sequel. It looks like they're going to some European city, I think Rome or something along, or Paris, or one of those European cities for the action. And then you have Twisters coming out on the 19th. This is I really want them to say what it is, because everyone was saying like it's not a sequel, or it's not. People are saying it's not a remake, it's a sequel, and they're like, oh, it's sort of a remake, it's sort of a sequel. Just pick one. It's really annoying me because no one can give me a straight. I'm sure there's a straight answer out there, but I haven't actually like read it, so I'm just annoyed that is the case. It looks good. I'm gonna go watch. Glenn Powell is gonna be the megastar this year. Uh, Daisy Edgar Jones is in it. David Cornsett, the new Superman. David Cornsett, he's going to be in the movie. Katie O'Brien is also in the movie as well. What do we think about Twisters? It's fun.
Zero thoughts about Twisters.
There's a okay, yeah. You know what? I get it. I get it. I'm looking forward to it. I really like the first Twisters, or the old Twisters movie, the original. I don't know, whatever. Um,
Hmm.
I like that movie. I watch it every year. I don't know why. During the pandemic, it became my comfort movie. I don't know why.
Okay. Hey,
So
you
I've been
like what you
watching it.
like.
Yeah, exactly. I've been watching it every year since that, and I'm looking forward to this. I like the trailer. The trailer makes what I find interesting about the trailer is it makes it look like it was shot in the 90s.
Okay.
Um, I really like that. Like, there's like it gives
Like
kind of
that.
that 90s vibe, and that shot. Look, I'm a straight man, but that shot of Glenn Powell walking in the rain that will make me question some. That made me question some stuff because that was a very good shot. But he's a good looking man. I'm not gonna lie, he's a good looking man.
Hey.
So there you go. All right. So I'm looking forward to Twisters, not because of Glenn Powell, because I actually find the movie interesting. But there you go. All right. So let's move on. End of June, the big one. Well, we got there's two movies, but we're gonna talk about the first one because the second one is probably where we're gonna have the main conversation. Fabulous Four. It's about two women who travel to be bridesmaids in a surprise wedding for their college friend. Susan Sarandon, Megan Mullally, Brett Midler, Shirley Lee Ralph, and Bruce Greenwood star in this movie. But the big one, the one that everyone's talking about, Deadpool Wolverine. We finally reached it. Um,
Finally.
what do you think? Now we can have the real conversation. What are you thinking about Deadpool Wolverine?
I think it's, I mean, again, I tend to not like to overhype things, but I think it's a good movie. I mean, you got Hugh Jackman, you got Ryan Reynolds. They both play their roles excellent. And then the rollout for this has been pretty nice. Even though I like avoid a lot of like trailers and like not necessarily spoilers, but like hints of things. 'Cause I don't watch a lot of TV and I don't go to the movies a lot, so like I don't see a lot of the
Yeah,
trailers and stuff that you might see or like the teasers and stuff. So um, I just knew I heard it was coming out, and I just kind of been enjoying the rollout. I've been enjoying like the little back and forth and little things that they're dropping about it, or like, oh, it's gonna have this costume, and people are super excited about it. Like even I'm hearing some of the excitement about it. So yeah, I'm definitely excited it's coming out. Kind of wish it was coming out, you know, to start this summer, but they gotta build it up for something, right?
yeah, yeah. I'm super excited for this. They dropped the new trailer yesterday,
Mm.
and it's everyone's been talking about it. Everyone's been dissecting it as much as they can. I'm super excited for it. Yeah, it's Ryan Reynolds. He's been good. I know when it first kind of came out that he was going to be like Deadpool, everyone was like, really? And then it's like, no, like he's perfect for it. Like he's actually like
Hmm.
really good. So you got him in there, and you got Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine. You got him in the MCU. You finally have him
Hmm.
in the yellow spandex suit that everyone's been wanting him in,
The
and
classic
it,
uniform.
yeah, and it's just like it looks great. It's the Deadpool humor. It's the MCU. They're going to be playing around with the multiverse. Um, I love it. This movie's going to make tons of money. It's going to.
Yeah.
It's probably the most anticipated movie of the summer for a lot of people. I know it is for me. Um, I'm looking forward to it. Like, there's nothing more I can really say other than I'm super excited for it. So the we're
Same.
super excited. Let's move on to August, our last month here. Now, August typically, I just want to say this before we go into it. August typically is known kind of like January as the dump month, where studios are just drop movies that they're not typically so that they know like aren't going to make a ton of money, or that they don't know where else to put them in the release schedule, so they're just going to drop them in August. Sometimes you'll have a big movie coming out in August that everyone is looking forward to, but typically studios know August not going to be the best month for us. A lot of times also because kids are going back to school and, not a lot of people are going, back to the movies. So let's get to it.
Agreed.
August 2nd, we have Harold and the Purple Crayon. Harold, played by Zachary Levi, draws himself out of the books and comes to the real world where he learns about his life. Or where he learns about life, not his life. A lot of people upset about this movie from the trailer. I
Oh,
think most of it because people don't like Zachary Levi anymore. Some people,
really?
yeah, he just rubbed people the wrong way. Other things because I guess they were expecting more kind of like an animated movie and not necessarily a live action movie.
Okay.
But it looks fine. I remember reading Harold and the Purple Crayon as a kid, but
Mhm.
not enough where I could be like upset about a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
It looks fine. I mean, I don't know if I'll go watch it, but it looks fine. What about you?
I feel like I'd probably go see it. I don't think I've ever read the book, but just based on the trailer and like literally drawing your ideas and bringing them to life, that's my career.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's
And
what
so,
you do. I mean, that's,
yeah. And so it's like when I saw the trailer, I was like, huh, this looks pretty interesting. Like if I was to pick a week movie to go see just because, that would be one. I'm like, yeah, I'm just curious about it. I want to check it out. That's one I would be interested in seeing. I think I wrote down a movie about ideas coming to life via drawing. Sign me up.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Again, stuff not targeted towards some friends, but it could be targeted toward other people. So I mean,
Yeah.
not gonna not gonna knock anybody on that. All right, let's move on to the ninth. Interesting weekend here, to say the least. With the Fire Inside, this is written by Barry Jenkins, who wrote and directed Moonlight and The Beale Street Could Talk. It is directed by cinematographer Rachel Morrison, rather. She did the cinematography for movies like Dope and Mudbound and Black Panther. She's making her feature directorial debut, which is pretty cool. This is based on a true story of Clarissa T. Rex Shields, a boxer from Flint, Michigan, who trained to become the first woman in her country's history to win an Olympic gold medal. There's that one. There's an adaptation of Colleen Hoover's novel, It Ends With Us. This stars Blake Lively, who plays Lily, who overcomes a traumatic childhood and embarks on a new life, but a change encounter rather with her neurosurgeon sparks a connection, but soon sees connections to her parents' relationships. Trap, written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. Shyamalan is back. A father, played by Josh Hartnett, takes his daughter to a pop concert, only to find out that cops have surrounded the building looking for a serial killer, and it turns out he's the serial killer. We're going to talk a little bit more about that because that trailer got a lot of people talking, but we'll talk about that in a second. Cuckoo, a young woman played by Hunter Schafer, is forced to move with her family to a resort where things are not what they seem. This co-stars Dan Stevens, Jessica Henwick, and Martin Koseks. And finally, Borderlands, yes, based off the video game. The cast includes Kate Blanchett, who's playing Lilith, Ariana Greenblatt, who's playing Tiny Tina, Jack Black is voicing Claptrap, Jamie Lee Curtis is playing Tannis, Kevin Hart is playing Roland, Edgar Ramirez is playing the villain, and a bunch of other people also co-star in the movie. This is a big weekend in August. I think kind of the final weekend before really kids start going back to school. So that's probably why the weekend's so big. What are we thinking about?
I was interested most, I guess, in the Clarissa Shields movie, just because I'm kind of familiar with her as a athlete, as a boxer. Um, and So I'll be interested to see where they take that, where it kind of goes, the story. And I like those kind of movies that are based on people's story. You can kind of learn about them, their grind, their rise or fall, and not. So I like those kind of stories. So that sounds like it could be interesting. Um, some of the other movies that had like a lot of people in it, and I was just like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people in that movie, but I don't know if it makes me want to watch it more or less, or I'm just kind of indifferent about some of them. So,
Yeah. So, yeah, I know nothing about Clarissa Shields. So when I
mhm.
started reading this, and I was like, is she a real person? Because the kind of like the where I
Yeah,
got the thing, I was like, is she a real person? And then I read it, I was like, oh no, she's a real person. And her story is great. So, getting
phenomenal boxer. I don't even watch boxing like that, but she's really good.
yeah, so I am interested in that, and you got Barry Jenkins in there and Rachel Morrison. It's always great when a cinematographer becomes a director because they already have an eye for
Mm,
filming. So when they finally get behind the camera, they know kind of exactly what to do and what they're looking for. That's always great. And then you put her in a boxing movie. I can just imagine kind of what she's going to do in the ring. I think that's going to be pretty cool. It ends with us. This was supposed to come out earlier in the summer, and they pushed it back to later in the summer. There's no trailer for that. I never read the book. I got nothing else for that one. I'm gonna jump around. Cuckoo looks really good. It's a horror movie. Trailer freaked me out. This is another one by Neon where they released something really short before they dropped the trailer, like months afterwards. And just the little teaser they released freaked me the hell out. And then this trailer dropped and it freaked me the hell out even more. So that's how I know this movie's going to be good. Because if it freaks me the hell out from a trailer, it's going to be good. Borderlands looks okay. I think I talked about it when the trailer dropped in the podcast. The trailer very much is reminiscent, and it's hard to make the comparison, or hard not to make the comparison to Guardians of the Galaxy because they're using an 80s song that's very colorful. I've never played the games. I've seen other people play the games. I've seen little clips of the games. So I got nothing in, I got no dog in that fight. It's also directed by Eli Roth. Not the biggest fan of Eli Roth, but I guess, we'll see how that turns out. But I want to talk about Trap. It's the new M. Night Shyamalan movie. This trailer came out, and so many people, and it was an interesting discussion because there were so many people. They're like, why would you give away the twist that he's the killer?
mm, mhm.
And it led to a very interesting discussion. Is it the twist? Because if it's part of the story that he's a serial killer,
That's the story.
that's not
Yeah.
a twist. That's part of this.
No.
That's the plot to get you into the
Mhm,
movie. The twist could come later. Like, what is he really the killer? Is maybe he's a
mhm.
secret cop? Maybe I heard someone
Does,
say maybe the daughter's the killer and he's trying to defend her, or they're like a
does he
dude.
have a twin?
Yeah, it's like it led to the discussion of like people not knowing what a twist is and people not knowing what a plot is, and
Mm,
I I went into that rabbit hole a little bit, and then it just started becoming people attacking each other. I was like, no, I'm out of here. I don't want any part of that. But it's interesting because it's M Night Shyamalan, and
mhm.
if they're revealing that in the trailer, and then, of course that led to like people saying that trailers reveal too much, and it's like, how do you that we don't know what the movie's about? Like we don't know what more the movie has. Like how would you edit that trailer of him not being the
Mm,
serial killer? It's like, yeah, okay, you can make it like he's trapped in there and he's trying to protect his daughter, but if the movie is him protecting himself, how do you
mhm.
edit around that to release a trailer? So I don't think them releasing that is necessarily a twist because I imagine there's going to be some other big twist in the movie. And
Mhm.
it's M. Night Shyamalan. There's always a twist.
It's M. Night
So
Shyamalan. Yeah.
there's always something. It's like, oh, you think that's a twist? No, 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 it's over here. All right, you're just not ready for it. So
Right.
I'm looking forward to it. That's me. I'm looking forward to it. And M. Night, he's very hit or miss. But
Yeah.
Knock at the Cabin, which was released last year, I actually really liked. So we'll see how that turns out. All right. The next weekend, the next weekend, 16th, we have a Netflix movie called The Union. Mark Wahlberg is a construction worker from Jersey who is thrust into the spy world by his ex-girlfriend, played by Halle Berry, who recruits him on a high-stakes mission. Co-stars J.K. Simmons, Mike Coulter, Mr. Echo from Lost. I always mispronounce the last name, so I think everybody just calls him Mr. Echo because I'm not going to butcher his name. and Jackie O'Hurley, or Haley rather, co-stars in that. Here's Horizon American Saga Chapter 2 coming out this same weekend. I can tell you right now, we're not looking forward to that one. And then movie I am looking forward to, Alien Romulus. This is directed and co-written by Fede Alvarez, who did Don't Breathe and Evil Dead remake. It is set in between the first Alien and the second one, which is Aliens. This movie will reportedly use a lot of practical effects, which is pretty cool, and has a young cast of Kaylee Spaney, who we just saw in Civil War, and Isabella Merced. Those two are the big notable names. The rest of the cast is a lot of up and coming names, a lot of unknowns as well. What do we think of the 16th? I mean, we already know we're not going to see Horizon, but this is Alien Romulus, the horror movie, so you're not interested either.
No. The only one I'm actually kind of interested in is the Netflix movie, which I don't have Netflix. But was it The Union?
The Union.
Halle Berry and Mark Wahlberg. That sounds interesting, like an interesting combination and enough story. Sounds like something I watch. Um, Actually, it is something that I'll watch. And it's unfortunate that I don't have Netflix. Maybe I'll have it by then. I don't know.
You can like
I don't watch enough of
try or something.
it. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of a miss on most of the other ones.
Yeah, I mean Horizon. Yeah, we talked about Horizon earlier. You know, if I end up watching the first one and it's not good, I'm not watching the second one. I don't care if I have to finish the story. The Union, yeah, it looks. Yeah, I mean, it's great. The one thing I will say, there was a Apple TV Plus movie. I forgot the name of it already. That has Mark Wahlberg, but he's playing the spy. So it's kind of interesting that this movie's coming out where it's kind of reversed, where he's not playing the spy in this one. Then Alien Romulus, I've been looking forward to it. The trailer was really good for me because I'm a big fan of the Alien movies. And the week we're recording this, the first Alien movie is getting re-released in theaters, which is pretty cool. I might go watch that. But yeah, Alien Romulus, I'm looking forward to. And I like Fede Alvarez. Don't Breathe was really good. The Evil Dead remake I thought was also very, very good for me anyway. But
Yeah.
there you go. All right. Next week, the 23rd. Yes, 23rd. We have Blink Twice. Just dropped today. Just dropped the trailer. Didn't watch it before this podcast, of course. But it is directed by Zoe Kravitz. Yes, the actress Zoe Kravitz, who's making her Totoro debut. She Frida. She's not in the movie. She just directs the movie. But Frida, a young waitress in LA, has an eye for a tech entrepreneur played by Channing Tatum. On a dream vacation on his private island, strange things start to happen. Pretty decent cast: Kristen Slater, Haley Joel Osment, Ali Shawkat, Andrea Arjona. I always mispronounce her last name as well. Kyle Monahan and Gina Davis. This movie was originally called Pussy Island. You can imagine why they changed the name to that. To Blink Twice. But there you go. Next movie is The Forge. It is a faith-based movie because there's got to be at least one faith-based movie in the summer, and that's The Forge. Slingshot, which is an astronaut struggles to maintain his grip on reality aboard a possible fatally compromised mission to Saturn's moon Titan. This stars Lawrence Fishburne, Casey Affleck, Emily Beecham, and David Morrissey. It is directed by Mikkel Hofstrom, who directed 1408, The Right, Escape Plan, and 2 years ago's Outside the Wire, which came out on Netflix. And then finally, the big movie coming out, The Crow, the remake of The Crow, directed by Rupert Sanders, who did Snow White and the Huntsman and the Ghost in the Shell remake. Bill Skarsgård plays the new Eric Draven. F.K. Twigs plays Shelley. She's a singer, for those who don't know. And Danny Houston plays the villain. Interesting week. What are we looking forward to?
I was interested in The Forge until about halfway through when I realized it was a faith-based movie. It looked interesting. I'm just not interested in those types of movies personally, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate because, like I said, for the first half of the trailer, I was like, okay, where's the story going? This is interesting. What we got going on
Yeah.
here? And then I was just like, ah, okay.
They're very hit and miss. They're very, very hit and
Yeah,
miss. And a
yeah.
lot of times I just avoid them because it's like, I got nothing against the faith-based movies either. I've seen a couple of them, very good. But a lot of time it's like, it's just not for me. There's not for me.
I don't know. Sometimes it feels kind of heavy-handed to me, and again, I'm kind of similar. It's just not for me, and that's okay. It's for other people.
Yeah,
Everything's not for me. Actually, most things aren't for me, and I'm okay with that. And the Blink Twice being a different name, that's funny.
that's
Yeah,
what it was called, man. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't stick with that original title. It totally would have been okay.
horrible title. It's funny though. I found it funny. Yeah, I don't really have any other thoughts on other of the other titles coming out.
Yeah. So you talked a little about the Forge. Blink Twice. I'll probably have to watch the trailer to really grasp what I feel about that movie. Um, the cast looks okay, but I just gotta watch the trailer for that one.
Mhm.
Slingshot, there's no trailer yet for that one. On paper, it sounds interesting, but it's really gonna come down to execution on that one. And then the Crow, the Crow. Uh, I I've been doing this podcast for a while. I've been reading movie news for even longer. This movie has been in the works for so long, and it has been in the works for at least a remake of The Crow. Anyway, has been in the works for at least a good 12 years. A
Okay,
decade.
yeah.
A decade. They have been trying to get this movie made, and there's been so many starts and stops. At one point, one of the studios it was connected to went into bankruptcy, so they had to sell it off, and it like anytime anytime there was an update of The Crow, I didn't read it because I was like, I'm just gonna read a report later on and be like, oh, it's not happening. They stopped it again. I won't believe this
Get your
movie.
hopes up.
I will not believe this movie comes out until I am sitting in the movie theater and it plays in front of me because I don't believe it's coming out. They already moved it because it was supposed to come out earlier in the summer, and they moved it to August because they
Get
swapped.
your hopes.
Yeah, they swapped release dates with another movie, but it's finally coming out. Rupert Sanders, Snow White and the Huntsman, Ghost in the Shell, both of them okay movies. They're nothing to really go home about. I like Bill Skarsgård. He's great. Him as Eric Draven, though, just like the whole movie just looks off. And the trailer didn't really there's a lot going on. Like the first trailer was like a Red Band trailer, which is like all the swearing and stuff. So I saw that one, and then I saw a Green Band trailer for another. For I went to go watch another movie, and they showed the Green Band trailer. I was like, that doesn't look good. Like if someone's seeing the Green Band trailer and that's the only trailer they see, that does not look good at
Hmm.
all. I don't know. It's I don't know. That's my thoughts about The Crow. I want to go longer, but we've been going on for a while. No, that's
Low expectations.
I don't even think low expectations will help me with The Crow. I'm just telling you that right now. We'll find out. We'll talk about it. I'll talk about it on the podcast. We'll see how that goes. All right. We're finally here. We're finally at the final week. At the end of August, we have City of Dreams. This is inspired by a true story of a Mexican boy who dreams of becoming a soccer star. Those dreams are shattered when he's smuggled across the border and sold into a sweatshop. Very heavy movie. From
Okay.
And then we have Craven the Hunter, which is the new Sony movie directed by J.C. Chandor, who directed A Most Violent Year and Triple Frontier. It is written by Richard Wenk, who wrote the Equalizer movies. Art Malcolm and Matt Holloway, they're a dual combo. They wrote the very first Iron Man. They wrote Punisher Warzone and the Uncharted movie. Aaron Taylor Johnson playing Craven the Hunter, Ariana DeBois, Russell Crowe, Christopher Abbott, and Alessandro Navallo are the cast. I'm gonna let you take this one before I go into my Craven rant. Um, Go ahead.
What it can be more different movies that are coming out this one weekend. One that's like very heavy and like really gonna pull on the heartstrings.
Yeah,
And then you got your superhero or anti-hero or whatever you want to call Craven, he's
yeah.
a villain. But movie. And did they give away was the trailer too informing? Put a lot of stuff in that trailer, like
For Craven.
for Craven. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I remember when it first came out. It was I think one of the first times I saw a trailer. I was here at home and I watched it for the first time, and the final bit where they reveal to you that the villain is, I guess if you don't want this spoil for you, look away. They reveal that the villain is the Rhino.
Yeah.
I looked at it. I was like, why? I'm thankfully I was at home alone. And I yelled. I was like, why would you reveal that? That is so stupid. And I remembered, oh, that's right. It's Sony Pictures. And then it's like,
That was such a good twist.
yeah, it's like, why would you just make him like, because the movie makes it feel like it's Craven going after his father, Russell Crowe.
It's that. Yeah, yeah.
Like, you could have just sold the movie on that. That's fine. And like you can have Alessandro Alessandro Navarro, who's playing that character, be like the guy that's bankrolling everything, the guy that's really behind everything. That's fine. Don't reveal he's Rhino in your trailer, because now when that happens, in the movie, it's like, oh yeah, I know he's a Rhino. Like, why do I care? Why? Like, they're gonna play it up like he's like some mystery. Like, oh, like what is he? Like, what's the secret inside? Like, no, I already know because I watched your dumb trailer.
Unless it's at the beginning and then something else is supposed to happen. But again, it's Sony. I don't know.
I don't trust Sony to be that smart and do that.
I definitely at the end I was like, wait, what? Like I was the whole time I'm like, okay, he's going after his dad. There's gonna be some other stuff that happen. Oh, you're just like dad, blah blah blah. Okay, I can see the family ties. I can see, and there's something about Rhino at the end. I'm like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah, it's
Why is right? Interesting. I'm like, first I thought they were like gonna like hint that they were gonna join sides or something or work together. But then it's just, I don't know. I was a little thrown, and so both interested, but also why? Like I would have been fine without that knowledge.
it's it's so dumb. It's I can only imagine, and I will go in with very low I already went in, I will go in with low expectations for Craven. I'm going in even lower after watching the trailer. I'm going especially even lower after Madam Web. And I think I mentioned that on the podcast. Like, I'm worried for Craven the Hunter. So unless they release another trailer and it just wows me, it's just I'm done with you, Sony Pictures. I really am.
I'll probably check it out. I don't know.
No, I'm still gonna go watch it because that's just who I am. I go watch all the superhero movies, but just like,
Yeah.
why? Just why? Why are you like this? Come on. All right. That's the summer, everybody. That's one way to end the summer movie season with Craven the Hunter. But there you go. I'm going to give you a very stupid early... I do this on the other ones. Stupid early preview of next summer. So next summer in May, the Thunderbolts, which they're currently filming, the new Marvel movie, Megan 2.0, and Mission Impossible 8. That's coming out in May. In June, Ballerina, which is the John Wick spinoff. It was supposed to come out this year. They pushed it back to next year because they wanted to do some reshoots. Elio, which I think is the new Disney animated movie. The live-action How to Train Your Dragon movie and the live-action Moana movie are coming out. And the sequel to The Black Phone 2. In July, the new Jurassic Park World movie, whatever they're going to call it. The new Superman movie that they're also currently filming. The Fantastic Four, now in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the Naked Gun remake, reboot. I can't remember which one it is. But that's in July. And then in August, a sequel to The Bad Guys, which is a DreamWorks animated movie. Vicious, I was going to look up what that was, and I forgot what that was going to be. But it's there, so I don't know what it is. An untitled new Paul Thomas Anderson movie coming out at the beginning of August. And then Mercy, which is a new movie with I think it's Chris Pratt and Rebecca Ferguson. That's who it is. I think it's like a action thriller movie for that one. So that's the early preview for next summer, of course. Too early to talk about, but next summer looks really good.
I was like, I'm already very interested in next summer. Now that you mentioned those.
Yeah, I mean, next summer looks pretty good. This summer also very good. I'm not going to go through the list again because that's way too many movies. But yeah, this summer looks pretty good. Hopefully it's good. You know, I think there was like early reports saying that the summer movie season was going to be down by like 2% or 3% or something like that. I don't know. You know, we'll see how that works out. You know, there's always early predictions like that, and then sometimes they're wrong. But I mean, obviously, we don't have Barbenheimer coming out this year, but we do have Deadpool Wolverine, which I think is good enough.
I feel like that's gonna do better.
Yeah, that will be more than enough for that.
Side note, Vicious is gonna be up your alley. It looks like it's gonna be a horror movie with Dakota Fanning.
Oh, oh, that's right. I think I remember seeing something like that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll look forward to that. I like Dakota Fanning. She does really well in horror movies, so I'm good with that. So yeah, that is the summer movie season. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much to Stefan for joining me. My first
Yeah,
guest in quite some time. I couldn't do this without him. I mean, I could, but it wouldn't be as fun. It would not be as fun. But
slightly more entertaining.
thank you very much for that. Thank you very much to all of you for listening. Make sure to subscribe, follow, rate, do all that good stuff wherever it is you listen to the podcast. All those links will be down below in the description/show notes area. Make sure to follow the socials as well. Pretty active on the Twitter. Trying to get more active on the Instagram. I will do that definitely this summer. I got some things planned for the rest of the podcast. Pretty sure this will come out at the beginning of May. This is obviously I'm gonna drop this at the beginning of May, but I think at that point I will have dropped the April movie roundup for all the movies that I've watched in April. In May, I'm also going to be doing some cool stuff. Don't want to say what it is because if I don't end up doing it, like you can't blame me for that. But I do got some cool stuff planned for the podcast coming up, and I hope you all come along with me on that journey. So thank you very much for listening. Very much appreciated. Once again, Stefan, for coming on the podcast with me. And
Word.
yeah, and that's it. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully, what do you think, you kind listener watching? What are your favorite movies, or what will be your favorite movie? Maybe right now, early prediction. Predict early what your favorite movie of the summer will be. What movie you're looking forward to, and then let me know, and we'll obviously shoot the breeze on that. So thank you guys so much once again for coming on and listening. Be safe out there. Enjoy the summer. Enjoy the summer movie season. And as always, go watch some movies.
Whoop whoop! Yeah! Give it up! Movies!